Here's how it starts. Quote, Stacey Blatt was in hospice care last September listening to Rush Limbaugh's dire warnings about how badly Donald Trump's campaign needed money when he went online and chipped in everything he could, $500. It was a big sum for a 63-year-old battling cancer and living in Kansas City on less than $1,000 per month. But that single $500 contribution, federal records show, it was his first ever, it quickly multiplied. Quote, another $500 was withdrawn the next day, then $500 the next week, and every week through mid-October without his knowledge, until Stacey Blatt's bank account had been depleted and frozen. When his utility and rent payments bounced, he called his brother Russell for help. What the Blatts soon discovered was $3,000 in withdrawals by the Trump campaign in less than 30 days. They called their bank and said they thought they were the victims of fraud. Russell said it felt like it was a scam. Oh, it was. It was a scam, perpetrated by the then President of the United States on his most ardent followers to the tune of many, many, many millions of dollars. As Shane Goldmacher lays out in an absolutely gobsmacking investigation in the New York Times, the Trump campaign last year started putting little checkboxes on its online donation portal, checkboxes that were already pre-checked when you went to make a donation. First, it was a box that locked you into repeating your donation every month. Then it changed into a repeated donation every week. Then there was a second checkbox, which the campaign internally called its money bomb, which locked you into an extra donation on some random day of the campaign's choosing. To be clear, if you didn't want the Trump campaign to keep reaching into your bank account or your credit card over and over again, you would have to see all of those boxes, read them, understand them, and deliberately uncheck them. If you just let them be, they would keep coming for more money from you without ever notifying you. The campaign kept finding new and inventive ways to hide even that fine print beneath lots of ridiculous, boldface, randomly all-caps nonsense verbiage that begged you, basically, to not read to the end. Shane Goldmacher writes that, quote, the tactic ensnared scores of unsuspecting Trump loyalists, retirees, military veterans, nurses, even experienced political operatives. Soon, banks and credit card companies were inundated with fraud complaints from the president's own supporters about donations they had not intended to make, sometimes for thousands of dollars. And, you know, all big campaigns do end up refunding some amount of money to donors because of mistakes or because some folks give more than they intended or they accidentally give more than the legal maximum and it has to be made square. But the Trump campaign was in a different stratosphere. They had to refund over $120 million to their online donors. For reference, the corresponding amount from the Biden campaign was $21 million. And amazingly, Trump paid for those refunds with money he raised from his donors in his next scam, soliciting donations after the election, supposedly to fight election fraud or stop the steal or whatever. For what it's worth, this New York Times story upset Mr. Trump enough to elicit one of his weird misspelled statements from Mar-a-Lago. Former president says the Times story is all wrong and also that he was the real winner of the November election. Okay, Chief. By the way, the Trump campaign may be over, but the for-profit company they put in charge of all their online donations to the point that they had to refund over $120 million. That company is still going quite strong in Republican politics. One member of the Republican National Committee is raising the alarm about this company, which is called WinRed, and what it's doing in his state, in Minnesota. According to the Huffington Post, this RNC official in Minnesota has written to state Republican Party officials, complaining that all the money raised online by the Minnesota Republican Party in the last year and a half, over half of it has gone straight to this company for something called WinRed credit card processing fees. Most of the money they have raised online in the past year and a half has gone to that company to keep. I mean, this can't go on indefinitely, right? I mean, the Republican Party can't just be an assemblage of various players who are all constantly scamming each other and running fraud schemes on each other, right? I mean, this does have to, I don't know. Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.